Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your Rabble live at 5. Every Monday to Friday, we are here at 5 p.m. to bring you all the latest Rangers news and all the talking points and take your questions and have a wee general discussion about life because why not? My name's Martin. Hello, I am your host, and my co host today is Alex. Alex, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm good. A little and large are here already. I'm good. Let's see if I get abused as much as I did on Thursday. No, was it Saturday?
Every time you're on, you get abused.
So it's only when I'm on with you because you start it, right? Every time.
I don't. It's not me that starts it. It's the comments that start it. Although I don't know if that's more a dig at me than it is at you.
Maybe it's just one comment aimed at you.
Aye, yeah. Or you can get you've got me and mini me. Um, yeah. Good evening, Wallace. How are you? Sniper's there. We've got Christchurch. He's in there. Mel's in there. We've got Rangers Clips as well. Hello. We've got Gary. We've got Toad the Greek. We've got Red Rock. We've got loads of people. So hello and welcome. Right, if you're getting your questions in, folks, please remember and put a nice big capital Q at the start so that I can differentiate between a comment and a question. And today, Alex, we're going to start with John Souttar. Rumours are, and again, this was seen in the Daily Record, so I would advise everybody to take it with a massive pinch of salt, unless it's been let out somewhere else. That doesn't sound right, does it? Unless it's been reported anywhere else, then I've only seen it in the Daily Record. But Alex, John Souttar apparently going to be offered a new bumper deal.
Bit of a weird one, to be fair, because a lot of fans and a lot of people have said that John Souttar's on the decline, but can we really afford to let probably one of our main centre backs go? I mean, his contract's obviously up in January. Can we let him go? I don't know. But all the hope was pinned on Derek Cornelius coming in, and now he's got the long term injury. So it's a bit of a strange one of a situation to be in, because if you take out Tav, who right now we've not heard any contract talks, his contract's up in summer. John Souttar's the only other player we have in that defence who isn't a lone player. So you can obviously see why the club's wanting to do that. They know what he's like. They know how he plays. He's been there for a little while. But it's a strange one from the club to go and offer him a bumper deal when the form this season has been nowhere near it for the calibre of player that John Souttar was at Hearts. And now at Rangers, he has been on the decline for quite a while. And it's been plain to see.
Well, that was going to be my next point to you. Has he done enough in the Rangers shirt, Alex, for you to be not just considered to be given a new contract, but to be part of this Rangers team moving forward? Or are we being slightly too harsh?
I think when you look at somebody like John Souttar, he has obviously had to adapt to a number of centre back partnerships. But you have to caveat that Martin was saying that he managed to avoid a lot of the blame when he was alongside Robin Proper. He then looked good when he was alongside Leon Balogun. He has had to put in a lot of work alongside Nasser Jiga, but he just hasn't looked good for a while. For me, and I said it at the start of the season, and I'll stand by it. I think John Souttar's more of a mid-table defender. Right now, we are mid-table, so he probably is suited to us, but he's more of a mid-table defender for me. He doesn't seem to cope very well with having the ball a lot, and it just seems like we could get a lot better centre backs, but we've got a £10 million centre back right now who is not good enough at all as we set back to his club. So I don't think he's done enough for a Rangers shirt. John Souttar's best time was at Hearts, plain and simple, and I don't think we've seen anywhere near that level of form since he's been at the club.
But I suppose the question you've got to ask yourself from a club's point of view is there's so much work needing done in not just January, but the summer as well, right? There's a lot of work needing done on this squad. Would John Souttar be a sort of safe option to keep whilst you're trying to get the rest of the positions as well? Because it's not just one centre-back we're going to need. It's not just that. It's not just a John Souttar. Cornelius is on loan. Jiga's on loan. Max Aarons is on loan, Goma's on loan. So there's a lot of work needing done. Would it make sense for a club point of view, do you think, even if he's not going to be necessarily a starter, maybe he's going to be backup, to keep the likes of John Souttar? Does that make financial sense?
I think it makes financial sense to keep him as a backup. But if you're offering somebody a bumper deal, they're not going to be there to sit on the bench. They've been offered a bumper deal to be a starter, and I think
we don't know how much it is. Obviously, he's been offered.
We don't. But for somebody like John Souttar, is he realistically going to be happy to just sit on the bench? Probably not. But right now we don't have a lot of options, as you said. Every other bar Clinton and Ciala, every other one of our centre defenders are loans. Our fullbacks are loans. We have Dujon Sterling, who could slot into that centre back role as well. But again, he has been injured for so long that he's probably not even able to do that right now. So
he's not reliable.
No, definitely not. So it probably makes more sense to have somebody like John Souttar on your books right now. The issue is that if you don't sign him, if you don't offer him a bumper deal before January, clubs can come in and talk to him, and they might offer him the deal that Rangers was going to offer him, and he goes in the summer.
Yeah, it's. I mean, multiple man's asking, has the Cornelius injury forced their hand a bit here? I don't know, because we're forgetting that Cornelius is only on loan, so that would only have been if the club was intended on buying him.
I mean, with having the option to buy Cornelius, it's probably forced their hand in a bit that you probably don't want to go buy a defender who is going to be out for as long as he has. I mean, looking at Rangers' track record of buying injured players, we probably would, because we bought Oscar Cortez, who was injured for a good while, and then we went and bought him. Ravi Matondo, injured, went and bought him. So the club's probably got a good track record of going out and buying players who get an injury. But I think it's probably forced our hand in the sense that because we don't have many starting centre-backs, we probably have to. I mean, we just spent $3.5 million on Fernandez, and he's only getting a game because Souttar and Cornelius went out injured. So I think it's probably forced our hand in terms of we have to act now. It's just, it seems a bit desperate from the club. And what it does do is it puts all of the control in John Souttar's hands, because he knows that, well, the club's not really got a choice. They either offer him a deal and he signs on for a couple more grand, or they have to go and spend a couple of million and wages on top of that, bringing in a new centre-back who will have to then get you...
We're going to need to bring in more than one, Alex.
Oh, 100%. We'll need to bring in at least 2 or 3, and that's just centre-halves. That's not your full-backs, because we only have... Right now, we'll have James Tavernier and Max Aarons on the right. James Tavernier's contract is up in the summer. Aarons will go back to Bournemouth in the summer. Magoma will go back down to, is it Forest, in the summer. So when you look at it, we really don't have a lot of defending options. We still need midfielders and attackers. So the biggest issue is that we don't have a lot of players in a lot of positions, but our crisis right now is at the centre-back. Brentford, thank you.
Brentford, yeah. Just sign Gogic. Do you know what? That's somebody that I've mentioned that would do a job for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
If we managed to bring him in January, wouldn't he be on a high wage, and he would do a job for 6 months? You mentioned Magoma there. Just a quick one on Magoma. If it was feasible, if it was affordable, would you bring him in?
I would. I think Magoma's looked at a very tidy class act player for us, and I think that yes, he's still learning and he's made a few mistakes, but he's made nowhere near the amount of mistakes that somebody like Nasser Giga's made, who, yes, gets his criticism from all the fan base, but still gets picked time and time again. I would happily go out, and depending on the fee and if it was going to be affordable for the club, I would sign somebody like Jayden Magoma. I think that if you do, and it's a tidy bit of business, you sell him on, in a couple of years for a great profit, because the fact that the way he's playing right now, he could be one of our record sales if we were able to get him. The issue is that Brentford do rate him quite highly, and I think he will go for a big fee, mainly because he is Martin's on mute and he's trying to talk to you. There you go.
He might go into Brentford's team next season.
Definitely. I think he could easily slot into there. The issue will be that if we try and get somebody like Magoma, I think it'll be, one, he's English, and two, he's from the Premier League, so the market, look at Chermiti, it'll be highly inflated. Is he better than Jeff Day? Right now, he probably is because he can actually defend. Yes, he makes some mistakes, but Jeff Day very rarely wanted to actually defend, and I do think he will cost. Well, I mean, 15 quid. That's not too bad. Surely we can afford that. Surely we can afford that. And
he's going to cost a few bob, but he's going to cost a few bob.
100% he will cost more than 10 million. I mean, if we're spending that on Yusuf Chamiti, I think you're spending 15-20 million on somebody like Magoma, especially at Brentford. They are a club that's known for doing business. They'll buy cheap and they will fully get in. I know that transfer market's one of those sites that they'll say this is what a fee is, and then at the end of the season you'll go from being 500k to 5 million because they've had a good season. I think that somebody like Magoma could easily do it for us, no problem at all. These Black Friday sales.
15 quid for a left back. There we go. I remember when players used to get bought. Well, we don't because we weren't alive, Alex. But players used to get bought for like 15 grand, and it was seen as a lot of money.
Wolf, jump on the pod. We need you. Get Wolf back.
Wolf created the transfer market. That's what
he did. He did, mate. He was right about it. And I will agree with Multiple as well. That point is true. But you look at the English market and how inflated it was. The fact that Chamiti had only scored, I think it was 4 goals for Everton, and that wasn't even in the main team. And then that's what we got. Magoma was at Preston. I think it was Preston last season and struggled to get into that team. And then he's come to us and he's looked very tidy in both the SPFL and in Europe. So for me, I think they'll see that and go, we could easily get 15-20 million. If from Rangers, fair enough. If not, somebody will pay that, no problem at all.
Would you go back to Brentford and go, look, we can't afford them. We know how much you want for them, but would you give us them for another year? Because you do. I think you see that a lot more in Europe, Alex, that players go out for 2-year loans sometimes. And the reason that I'm asking the way that I'm thinking that is, like I said before, if you look at the job that Danny Rose got on in terms of the amount of players that he needs to bring in, the amount of players that he needs to ship out. I know we've all complained about the fact that the whole defence is basically on loan. But if we can bring in a couple of full-time centre-backs at a proper right-back or whatever, and you've got Magoma there, would you be happy with another loan?
I think in terms of looking sensible, you probably would have to be happy with another loan. What the club would have to do, though, Martin, is if we went in for another loan, we would probably have to do either an option or an obligation to buy. I think that's probably what Brentford would want, or we would have to pick up more of his wages as well. We're probably paying a small fee of his wages. We're not probably paying the full whack, but we'd probably have to be putting a clause into that, which I'd be happy to do, as long as we didn't get another Bayern Munich situation where Malik Tillman was obviously flying for us and then they backed out that deal because they knew they'd get more. But if you were able to get a fee, I'd definitely go back in for Magoma for another year on loan. But I think we would have to then have either an academy player coming through or somebody coming through that's back up to that position.
Or somebody lined up for maybe the next year or something like that to bring in permanent. Yeah, I get that. Right. The sniper, does Souttar make anyone better beside him? Or is Souttar the one who needs somebody beside him?
I think Souttar needs somebody beside him because we were saying that he couldn't play on the right and he was struggling on the right, and that's why it was a struggle having Nasser Giga. I think Cornelius made Souttar look better because he was a comfortable defender. I think Souttar is a good player, just not for Rangers. Like, he does the job for Scotland, just not for Rangers. And I think it's the system. He makes Grant Hanley look good. Fair enough, that's a good one.
That's not easy to do.
No, definitely not. I mean, that was Grant Hanley that got sent off the next game for him. So there you go. But I think it depends on who's beside him. I don't think he makes many look comfortable, but if there's more defenders, it kind of takes the pressure away from Souttar. Some of the goals we've conceded, Souttar's either been too high or he's too deep or he's not tracking his man and he's then had to try and recover. On some occasions, he has recovered and made himself look good, but in a back two or a back three, he's not coped very well. He was good in a back five, and that's why I was saying at Hearts, that's where he played some of his best football.
Well, yeah, and I suppose that the last question on Souttar before we move on to Dio is quite simply for Charles: is he worth a contract extension?
It's a tough question. I think if he knew that he wasn't going to be a starter, and he was there on the rotational basis, that if somebody had a knock or somebody had a niggle, he'd come in. Yes. If he was signing a contract extension to be the number one centre back again, for me, no.
Yeah, I'd probably tend to agree. I agree with multiple man. He's too weak. He lets players pass them far too easily. He's too weak. Titty biscuits. We need better than soapy. Sorry, not good enough. Backup or rotation or rotation maybe. Although Paul's gone one with maybe another 1 year. So another year. If it was just a year extension. Or any saying a contract extension is probably cheaper than to bring in another rotational centre back. And that sort of goes with what Lockey's saying, is Rowe planning on going to a back three? Well, he kind of already has, hasn't he, Alex? I mean, in most of the games that he's played. Now, it depends on I don't know what he done long term at Sheffield Wednesday, if he played with a 4 or he played with a 3. I suppose that will make a difference, I suppose, in what defenders he's going to bring in.
We would very much need to see what defenders he's going to bring in, but I think when you look at it, we've actually been not too bad with a back two. I think that Fernandez has looked very strong in a back two. Against Kilmarnock, when we were 2-0 up, we brought Tav in and went to a back 5. So at that point, it was the 3. It was Tav, Giga and Fernandez. I think we don't have enough centre-halves right now to go to a back 3, especially fit ones. So unless he's bringing in 2 centre-halves in January alone, then that's when we can go for it. But I don't see us going to it before then because Souttar's not going to be fit enough. The only player you could probably put in there would be Tav. Maybe put Tav alongside Giga and Fernandez, and then you'd have to play Aarons and Magoma either side. That's probably the only situation right now that we could get a back 3. But Michelle is right. I don't see us under Danny Rowe having one set formation. He does change even throughout the game. He will change. He'll take off players to go to a different formation. So he doesn't like to play just the one. But right now, I don't think we have enough players to get in that back 3. I know Sean are saying possibly Sterling. I don't think he's fit enough yet to get in that back 3.
You can't rely on Sterling. You can't rely on him.
And he has to do a lot of work right now just to be able to get in that position. Sterling was on the bench for Dundee United and then wasn't on the bench for Kelly because he didn't want to risk him in that pitch. So is it only going to be that for the next couple of months, couple of weeks, whatever? We only see Dujon Sterling when it's a grass pitch and the conditions are absolutely perfect, because we're in a fight for the next month with the amount of games we've got. We would need somebody like Dujon Sterling to be fully fit, ready to go for the next, 6 games in 3 weeks we've got.
Yep.
You can't rely on him.
You can't rely on him for that. You absolutely can't. Multiple man's asking, any shows on later tonight? You've got Thompson Tuesdays at 7, and then you've got the Q&A with myself at 9, multiple man. Thompson Tuesdays is obviously for all members. The Q&A tonight at 9 p.m. is for CEO Plus. So that's what's on tonight on the Rabble Network, which if you want to join, you can do so now. Links are in the description. You're helping to support independent Rangers media, and it's cheap as chips as well. So click on the links in the description. You can go and join Thompson's Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Either on YouTube or Patreon. It's not going to be the same this week, though, multiple man. It's not going to be the same tonight because there'll be no extra guests tonight. That's all I'm going to say. On that. Is Thompson turning up? Well, he's not phoned in sick yet, Sniper.
He's
not phoned in sick
yet. Still plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Right, Mo Diomande, not picked for Ivory Coast. Was that a bit of a shock for you, Alex?
Not really. I don't think Mo Diamande's been in the greatest form this season. I think somebody like Ivory Coast probably can't risk Diomande, especially how card happy he has been in the past couple of months. He's had 2 red cards and a handful of yellows in the past 2 months alone. So for me, Ivory Coast have probably went, that's too big a risk to actually take. What it does do though is he had a pretty good game against Kilmarnock. A lot of people said that he was okay. I thought he was pretty good. He was getting fouled quite a lot and actually looking like he was running the show for a good bit. Him and Bayrami were actually looking very good until Bayrami went off injured.
I think he's been off it for a long time, Alex.
I think he looked good in the Kilmarnock game. I think he looked very good in that game. For me, he was one of the focal points in getting forward. I think it's probably a good thing for us, but what it will do though is if Mo Diomande does not go to AFCON, I think it stops likes of Lyle Cameron getting in there, because for Lyle Cameron, it was a bit of a blessing in disguise. Somebody like Bayrami getting injured, because that's the place that he can occupy. I think now we'll see Mo Diomande take that spot rather than somebody like Lyle Cameron. He has been off it for a good while, and I think that's probably why Ivory Coast have went, it's not worth it. It's not actually worth taking him for that, and then maybe getting himself sent off and costing him a game. But I think he's obviously favoured by Danny Rowe because he keeps getting picked.
I know, because I was reading a few comments today, and there was folks saying, right, well, that's actually a good thing for us. The fact that Ivory Coast hasn't picked him, but if they haven't picked him, it's because he's not in form. And like you said, Alex, he's constantly getting himself sent off, and he's making stupid challenges. He's losing concentration. Why? Is it a case of he's not getting played in the right position? Is it a case that he's just stopped caring as much? It could be something going on at home. I don't know. But whatever it is, he needs to sort of pick his form up, or say to the manager, I'm not in the right frame of mind here, because he's costing his games.
I think Mo Diomande has just down tools. In all honesty, yes,
Down tools.
I think he has. Yes, I think he's had a good game against. Well, I don't think he had the tools to begin with. To be fair, he had a good game against Kilmarnock, but I think he's just decided that this league is either not for him, or he can't really care, and he's still getting picked and he's still getting played. But when was the last time Diomande actually scored for Rangers, got an assist? He gets played all over the place, and a lot of people can say that he's getting thrown about the pitch. He'll play in a holding role, then he's played in the forward, then he's played as more of an attacking midfielder. I just think that there's players that we've got in the club that are probably better than Mo Diomande right now, and he's still getting in ahead of them. Is it because of the price tag? And I've said it for a few people now, because of the price we paid for them. I think that's showing the fact that, look at Thilo Asgard, he was not in form and he was still getting on the pitch. This Mo Diomande wasn't in form getting on the pitch. Nasser Giga, because he's got a £10 million price range on his head, is still getting played, even though we've got somebody like Insiala, who a lot of the fan base say is better. You've got Lyle Cameron not getting played, Finlay Curtis not really getting played. I just think there's players that are better than Mo Diomande right now, and for whatever reason he's still favoured by the manager. He must be absolutely fantastic in training, because he must be showing it elsewhere and then just not doing it on the pitch.
Well, Titty Biscuits is asking, what is his best midfield role, and have we seen it?
Next question. I don't actually know what you would say Mohamed Diamande's best position is, because he's been played a lot of positions over that front line. So he's never played at striker, but he's played off the left. He's played in the holding midfield, a centre midfield role. He's also played in the number 10 role, and he's never really done it. Yes, he's had a few good games and he's got it, but it's been like flashes in the pan, or he's hit a purple patch and he's shown that he can do it. But apart from that, we've never really seen a consistent full season worth of great play from Mohamed Diomande.
No. We're going to move on slightly, because somebody's just put something in the comments that I've not seen. I don't know if you've seen. If I can find it, can I find it? Can I find it? I can't find it. Everton interested in Conor Barron, apparently. According to a comment. Now, I don't believe that to be true, Alex. I think he's a cracking player. I think he's starting to come good at Rangers, but he's not been doing it consistently enough for long enough, I think, for teams to start. Of Everton's, what league they're in and the level that they're at, I'd be very surprised if Everton were showing interest in Connor Barron, unless they want to apologise for Trinity.
Unless they want to apologise.
Throw a wee 10 million our way.
Just getting it on top of whatever they pay for and give it over. I do think Stonor Barron, I can't call him Connor Barron, Stonor Barron has started to very much show the ability to actually get games and get going forward, especially the goal line clearance at Kilmarnock when Bruce Anderson was like a mile onside and it was still judged to be offside, but it's only kept out by Connor Barron. I think he's shown form. They can't be interested in him right now. Surely not. I wouldn't
think so.
If he keeps up this form, yeah, but when you look at the way that Nathan Patterson was playing, he completely kept that right back position to himself. It was his own. He Tav's going to get back in. Nathan Patterson just went, "It's mine." I think Connor Barron has the potential to go to one of these clubs. Not right now, though. Everton can keep an eye on him and maybe they want to watch him until the end of the season, see how he gets on. But right now, I don't think that they're going to go and buy him in January. If they did, it would be a massive, massive loss to Rangers because I think he's starting to own that holding role. He's breaking up a lot. He's shown that bit of fight that we've asked for a long time from a lot of players. And a lot of people wrote off, myself included, wrote off Connor Barron. And he's actually started to pay it back a wee bit. If he can keep it up, though, because we get that, Connor Barron's doing absolutely brilliant. And the next game, he has an absolute howler. And you go, there you go, I told you he was going to do it. So the consistency is the key thing that we're looking for here. And I think he's got the capability to do it. We're just going to need to wait and see for the rest of the season.
I mean, Lyndon, Martin's already gone. So I don't know why you're saying Martin out. I've no idea why you're saying that. This is just confusing. Benidorm, hello from Toronto. That's just confusing, Benidorm. Do you know I used to live in Benidorm? Anyway, that was
maybe Benidorm's went on holiday. You never know.
It was another story for another day. Right, so Scott, Aribo available for 1.5 million. And of course, Jordi has asked the same question. I can't find it now, but it's Aribo's available. Would you take him back?
See, I voted yes. We put a poll in the chat, in our Rabble chat. I voted just to get it to split because it was 5-4. So I was like, right, I'm going to just vote and get it to 5 each. Joe Aribo was an absolute gem of a player for us at Rangers. He was world class, in my opinion. He was just able to cut a defence down. He was able to get goals. The issue is that it's been 2 years, I think, 3 years since we last saw Joe Aribo. I think
world class is a wee bit of a
no chance
there, Alex.
No chance. But I think that he's not played anywhere near consistent football for Southampton. But I'd still bring him back. Don't care. I'd bring him back. 1.5 or not, I'd bring back Joe Aribo. Gets the club. And I think he would just do an absolute gem in that midfield for us. So I would 100% go and buy Joe Aribo. He's been available for 1.5 million in Southampton. Selling him for 1.5 million, though, is two different things. I think that they would probably want to overinflate that price a wee bit, but I'd go back in for Joe Aribo.
I don't think he'd come back here. Not because of Rangers, just because of Glasgow and etc. Yeah. And his wages as well. As David Craig's saying, his wages are high, so we'll be looking for a team that can offer him those kind of similar wages as well. Right, folks, that will do us for tonight. Like I say, we're back at 7 p.m. over on the membership channels. So if you want to come and join us there, you can. Just check out all the links in the description. You can join up on YouTube or Patreon, whatever tickles your fancy. If not, and you just enjoy the shows that we do during the week, then like, share, and subscribe, please. And that would be grateful. I'd be very grateful if you like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching this back, hit that hype button as well. I've seen that. So if you've got hype, you only get so many hype points or something, right? I don't know. Hit that hype button, folks. It would really help us out as well. Alex, mate, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you to everybody who with their comments, their questions, their likes, their subscribes, all that good stuff. Thank you to all the members who are helping to keep the channel going. It's greatly appreciated. And it was very easy for me to say, Jordy, I'm just back for the dentist. So I think I've actually done quite well. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. We'll speak very, very soon.